Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Make sure to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content. Today we're looking at a few cards that are being introduced within VJUMP. So these are subscription promos. You get those if you pay for the magazine, and this happens in Japan. I think it's every month they release a new card, and in this case they seem to have released 3 of them. One is supposed to support Chazz Princeton from Yugioh VJUMP, and the other 2 are meant to support Bastion Misawa, but they're not as you think them. You think of Oxygen, Hydrogen, and Carboneton to, even with his Water Dragon, but actually this is the manga version, which are the zombie support cards. First card is Armored Armed Dragon. It's a level 4 wind attribute dragon type effect monster with 1900 attack and 1400 defense. Effect: when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 1 level 5 or lower wind attribute dragon monster from your hand or deck, except Armored Armed Dragon, but it cannot attack directly during this turn. The interesting thing about this card is actually this helps to set up for your Armed Dragon plays. Remember, both level 3 and level 5 can upgrade on, level 5 upgrades if it attacks another monster and defeats it in battle. So you can instantly end up with a level 7 Armed Dragon. And with Armed Dragon level 3, you have to wait until your next standby phase before it upgrades to the level 5 version. So that's to help with that. Generically speaking, it's okay, but it's very specific and it's not flexible enough. I know you've got the Armed Dragon Thunder versions as well, which can be compatible with this card. But as an extender, it's definitely something you might want to miss out on. It's not the best support. The next card is Hama no Karasu Tengu. It's a level 4 Earth Attribute zombie type effect monster with 1400 attack and 1200 defense. You can only use this card's name's effect once per turn. 1. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, or if it's special summoned from the graveyard, you can target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So this works on how a lot of the zombies do when they're special summoned from the graveyard. Some of them have trigger effects. They work in conjunction with things like Zombie Master and Zombie World to prevent your opponent from doing things. And it's a decent enough effect because, it's every time you just revive it. But the thing is that to use its effect whilst it's on the field relies on your opponent to use a card effect on it. Had this been both that means and by battle, that would be a lot better, or even just purely by battle. Based on its stats, people are going to just run over this card with their monsters. They're not going to even bother looking at wasting their spell or trap or monster effect resources, especially if they know it's going to work against them. It says here, as a note, this card was originally Karasu Tengu or Crow Tengu in the GX manga. Hama refers to purifying and erasing evil through religious rituals. And the final card is on the Maraki. It's a level 4 Earth Attribute zombie type effect monster with 1200 attack and 1000 defense. You can only use this card's name's effect once per turn. 1. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, or if it is special summoned from the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. I liken this a lot to an old card known as Sacred Crane. Basically what happened is every time it was special summoned from the graveyard, you'd be able to draw a card. Very similar to how this works. It was slightly stronger. It had 1600 attack, I think 400 defense, and that was a light attribute winged beast, but this is very similar and you can actually benefit a lot off of reviving it. You've got so many types of revival cards for zombies. Book of Life, for example, is a clear 3 of you'd want to be running in conjunction with these 2 cards. But it's got the same disadvantage as the previous card. It can only trigger its effect from the field if your opponent destroys it with a card effect. They're not going to do that, especially with something they can easily run over with a level 3 monster, a level 2 monster even. There are monsters that are surprisingly level 1 that can probably run over this card as well. It's a bit depressing to see these cards because whilst they probably did have their place maybe 10 years ago when GX was around, now I don't think they even matter too much unless you can have cards that trigger these effects or are added as support, maybe in Dawn of Magistics. Maybe these cards are just going to get forgotten and kind of left in a collection somewhere.